Hey everyone, my name is Discourse, and today I thought we'd do something a little different and respond to some juicy comments. So for your own information, the content made for this channel usually takes around 5 days to make, between research, scripting, filming, then doing the skits, and then editing. And right now I'm releasing a video every 4 days, so yeah, do the math on that one. So I'm aware of a thread that was posted in the mainline Warhammer 40k subreddit. Now I am aware of this thread and I was going to post a response to it, but unfortunately it was locked by the moderator, so I never had an opportunity. I was advised not to read the comments because apparently they're very mean. So I thought that today, why not? Let's go over them together. And with a glass of wine, of course. Now hopefully this will allow me to respond to some of them. I'm going into these pretty blind. I asked someone to cut through them all and send me the juiciest comments. I haven't seen these, so let's run through them. We're on a journey together here. Okay, and here we've got one from Dead Phoenix. Yeah, I've tried to watch a few of her videos in the past. It's horrendously over-edited, poor attempt at satire, and weird hand waving that's incredibly annoying. Genuinely, she could be making a reasonable argument beyond the clickbait titles. Hey, but it's like trying to have a serious discussion with an extremely hyper 5-year-old who's been at the sugar all day. Okay then, let's get this going. So yes, this isn't actually the first time that I have been told that I am essentially the equivalent of a hyper 5-year-old. It means I'm energetic, right? So, I mean, I've got that going for me at least. I do think I have some more coherent points than a 5-year-old though. Sort of. It's basically give me plastic for cheap, thanks. And as for the hand waving, I like it. I think it means that I'm more forthright. And it's not over-edited, it's edited just enough. But at least they can see that I am indeed making a reasonable argument beyond the clickbait title. So there we are. And it's not clickbait, I answer the questions that I pose in my titles. So not clickbait, 100%. The thumbnails are a little on the nose. Okay, and here we have Gary Clarkson, so very imaginative Reddit name here. I've tried to watch some vids because no judging a book by its cover. Well, thank you, Gary, that's good of you. Well, it's worse than the cover. Okay, that was good. You lured me into a trap there. The cringe is strong with this one. Okay, I don't think that the videos are that cringy. I get the skits are fun, okay? The skits are fun. They're not cringy. I have a lot of fun with them. I don't care. 59 upvotes. So that's a popular opinion from Gary. Thanks, Gary. Keep trucking. Okay, and here we have Assessed Quell Patron. Acting outraged and playing victim is just a lot easier and comfortable than taking charge of your life and actually standing for something constructive. First of all, I don't act outraged. I am outraged. There is a big difference there between those two things. I don't play the victim at all. I think that I propose myself as an advocate. So I think that I try to prevent victimization of groups of hobbyists. And I don't think this is easy either. There's a lot of work that goes into this. Those skits take a lot of hours to film, not to mention all the research and editing in the background. So it's not easier or comfortable. Assessed Quill Patron. Cool name though. Better than Gary, I think. 77 upvotes for that one. Nice number. So I can see how this is going to go. Oh, okay, and so here we have Wedgie Burger 5000, very nice. Talentless hacks shamelessly prostrating themselves on the internet to steal a living by appealing to the lowest common denominator of human negativity. I'm not calling anyone out in particular, there are millions of these social bacteria. You can typically identify them by the head face thumbnails. That one's just really, that's a lot going on. And there is a little response here, so let's read that. A plague unto thee. Thumbnails and grabbing titles, often with that one word or phrase you must know about. Social bacteria, I like that. I like social bacteria too. I think that's actually a pretty good line. I don't know if I should be included in that. I feel like the videos here on the channel are pretty constructive, generally speaking. Sure, they're evocatively titled, but I mean, come on, head face thumbnails. I am shocked at half this stuff. Come on. I'm not shamelessly prostrating myself on the internet either. There's a lot of shame. Also, not stealing a living. Who am I stealing from? And not talentless either. I resent that completely. At least I'm called a hack though. Hack's kind of adjacent to a journalist, just a really bad one. Okay, and here we have someone who has accidentally, I think their name was meant to be Nave, but they couldn't get it. So instead of putting a number behind it, they just spelled it wrong. So that's Knoave. Says, honestly, I kind of feel bad for the people that enjoy the videos because they have extremely poor reasoning for her points. That's you. few, by the way. So for example, in the Black Templars video, she tries to measure the value of the box by the number of models, which is not a good point at all, since you'd struggle to argue there's any value in Imperial Knights with that logic. Funny you should mention Imperial Knights. I do actually think they're kind of overcosted. Later, she makes an appeal to the objective value of the box, which she has no way of measuring. So that is true. We have no way of measuring objective value. Everything is obviously going to be subjective. The price of boxes is set in the current system by the marketplace. I completely acknowledge that. I think the marketplace should change. That's what I'm trying to do here on the channel. I'm trying to get people to understand that these things shouldn't be so expensive, including Imperial Knights, by the way. I think they should be much cheaper. There is a difference as well between a Space Marine model with, you know, this amount of plastic as opposed to an actual Imperial Knight. They are different. I can acknowledge that fact. I'm not going to argue that Imperial Knights have no value at all, although I do think that they're probably overcosted. It's amazing how in less than a few months we have gone from bashing GW for making these boxes limited, and then when they change to make sure everyone who orders gets one, we start complaining about them existing to begin with. I feel for GW, they literally can't win. Yes, they can! They can totally win! There is a really easy way to win. It's called release the box, sell it for a reasonable price, keep it up on order, let me order it again later on down the line. I don't have to buy it within a weekend. You don't get brownie points for saying, oh, well, you know what? We were releasing boxes and they were selling out overnight to scalpers. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna make sure that whenever you can pre-order a box that you actually get the box. Thanks! That's not, you don't get the win from that. You don't get brownie points for that. Games Workshop don't get to have their cake and eat it too. Whenever they release pre-orders, they should be able to fulfill those pre-orders. That's it, end of story. That is the business. If they can't handle that, then they shouldn't be in the business. They're not going to get praise from me for being able to sell their models. That makes no sense to me. And just because they were originally using FOMO over a weekend and now they're doing it over 2 weeks, doesn't make it any better. It's still FOMO. You're still being pressured to buy within a very specific window of time that you're aware will end. That's still an issue. But thanks for the comment. Singus Tinge comes in with a reaction to the quote, the dickhead face thumbnails with reaction videos spring to mind, leeching off of other people's work. Oh, this is dreadfully ironic. So Singus Tinge, hello, hi there. Yeah, thanks a lot for the comment. Content, moist and squishy. This is the best name so far. Okay, I don't care what moist and squishy has to say. This is just an excellent name. I am in favor of them. I like them a lot. This one also tries to get views by posting pics of herself in tight clothes with her pushed up. Her content is mediocre at best. That's just not true. That's a lie. Come on. I don't do that. Is there any thumbnail? I'm actually trying to think now. I almost went with a Dark Eldar thumbnail for the, God, what one was it? I almost went with a picture of me dressed up as a Dark Eldar for the Games Workshop is Dying thumbnail, but decided to go with the Chaos Cult because it's more sort of recognizable immediately of what it is. And also I wanted to save the Dark Eldar because I was quite proud of that outfit and I wanted to save it for the skit. So I went with Chaos there. I mean, I think I've appeared more often in monk's robes in the thumbnails than in tight clothing, I think. So Moist and Squishy might have someone else on their mind. Definitely got something else on their mind when they named themselves. Maybe that just infuses everything that they make. Cool name though. Only 4 upvotes. And here we have Sophisticadan. I looked them up out of curiosity and there is this the end of Games Workshop. Video is just saying the 3D printers will wreck them. LOL. 42 upvotes. That's just a lie. I don't say that. I say that in terms of the stocks, maybe the investors have noticed that 3D printers exist now and so therefore the stock value is dipping down for Games Workshop because Games Workshop obviously are going to have to deal with this issue of 3D printers at some stage and there is a lot to talk about there. I don't want to talk about it too much here because I probably will have a video out on it at some stage, but the end of Games Workshop video is not that one. I don't talk about 3D printing much in that one, so I don't know. Maybe I'm being confused for someone else again. What this says to me is that this person has probably watched up to the moment that I mentioned 3D printing in that throwaway line and then clicked off and said, I know everything there is to know about this content. What was that, 17-minute long video, I think? Come on. Okay, and then here we have X Morant. More like this YouTube channel is worse than you think. Garbage clickbait. Wow, so 14 upvotes for Morantz there. Well, Morantz, very polite of you, very nice. It's not garbage clickbait, I don't think. We've already gone through that before, but I don't think so. It's evocatively titled, but I think they're a lot of fun. I actually have a lot of fun making the thumbnails. And here we have more like this YouTube channel is worse than you think. That's really clever, because there's a couple of videos that I have that are, you know, the Orc box is worse than you think, the Black Templar box is worse than you think. I think the YouTube channel is better than he thinks though, so that's kind of ironic. And the thing is, the reason why I have those videos entitled are worse than you think is that you will find plenty of people who will say, I don't like this box. I don't like this box, I'm not gonna buy it. But the reason why I title it, it's worse than you think, is because my point is that this represents trends in the industry that are going to make an impact on future products. That is why they are worse, because they are not forming in a vacuum. You may think that the orcs are monopose and think that's pretty bad. I agree with you, but my point is that this monopose nature is going to ripple out and affect all future boxes. It's why it's so bad. That's for the orcs. There's often reasons why these things reflect endemic trends to the industry, and that's why they're so bad. That's why it's called that. I don't think it's clickbait. I think it's pretty accurate. And here we have floor dice. My favorite kind of dice, especially whenever it's rolled whatever you want it to be, because it's on the floor. My favorite video by her was the one where she said, GW bad for marketing to wheels, correct? By the way, subscribe to my Patreon for $35 a month. Okay, well, first of all, that's every video. You can't just say a video. Every single one of my videos, I, of course, let people know about my Patreon and let them know what they can get if they subscribe to it. It's at patreon.com/discoursminiatures. You can check that out. $35 though, it doesn't cost that much. This channel does not make much money at all. And right now I'm trying to get as many patrons as possible so that I can make this content full time. I would love to be able to make this content full time. And right now I can't because I can't afford to. So I'm trying to get people on Patreon. And I think there is a big difference between me asking people to voluntarily come onto Patreon and decide whether or not they want to support the channel with their own money, as opposed to basically saying to them, you gotta, or else you'll miss out on your new Space Marines. Don't you want to be competitive? Come on. GW are bad for marketing to wheels, and also if they had really engaged with the content for trying to create more wheels from average consumers was a big portion of that video. I'm guessing it was the one on the Kill Team 2 release, and there's a big difference between that style of building wheels and me asking you, hey, throw some dollars in the tip jar if you fancy. But he goes on to say, almost as bad as that pheasant Gamza. That is a good one. 26 upvotes. Okay, and we've got A.G. Simpson 1988. Never do that, by the way, because I'm pretty sure his date of birth is 1988, which means I'll be able to answer any secret question of his if I ever try to hack into any of his accounts, if that so happens to also be his secret question. You know, I'm just saying security, be very security conscious. Every time I see one of her thumbnails, I laugh so hard. It's the same with Spiky Bits as well. It seems both of them have been hurt irreparably, so by Games Workshop, all they can do now is cry about it. Actually, I can do a lot more than cry. I can talk. I can make videos like this. I can do fun skits too. And I haven't been hurt irreparably by Games Workshop. I mean, Fantasy was a bit of a blow. Losing Fantasy was a pretty big blow. That was really sad. I really miss Fantasy in a lot of ways. I don't think I actually miss it in terms of the gameplay. I think that the gameplay itself might have been very much of its time, but I had fun with it for its time. I have very fond memories of destroying my friend's Bretonian army in the first turn. He, by the way, does not have fond memories of that and has never picked up another Warhammer Fantasy game ever again. He quit immediately after that battle, so I feel really bad about it, but also I look back and I go, oh, I love Outriders so much. Spiky Bits, I think Spiky Bits are fine, personally. I know that that's kind of a controversial opinion, but I think that they do some good reporting on Games Workshop. They're one of the few outlets who actually engage with Games Workshop and hold their feet to the fire in some regard, and I often source them because I think that the people behind Spiky Bits have got some good insider knowledge in terms of local game stores and things like that and how the industry works. I've got no problems with Spiky Bits. A.G. Simpson 1988 apparently does. 7 upvotes. Fair enough. Whew, there is a lot of comments here. I think we're gonna need more wine. Okay, and here we have Heartburn for Days. I actually feel this one. Keep f***heads out of wargaming. Why are you still here, Heartburn? That was a good one. That was a good one, I think. 3 upvotes. Mr. Inks. Oh, them. Could easily tell it was a moron channel by the fact that they're trying to get everyone to hate GW. Seriously, the thumbnails aren't going to help at all. I'm not trying to get everyone to hate Games Workshop. I don't think that people should really hate Games Workshop. I think they should be concerned and critical of Games Workshop. Games Workshop have a lot of power. There was a man, old Uncle Ben, who once said, with great power comes great responsibility. And as the market leader, Games Workshop have a lot of work to do. They need to make sure that they set a good example for other companies, and they show that profit can be made as desired with good business practices. Unfortunately, they don't do that. They do the exact opposite. They show bad business practices. The miniature wargaming hobby is really lucky in the sense that the vast majority of companies in this space are still operating under the assumption that people will buy good product. And so lots of companies just try to sell good products. Games Workshop has skewed that, and therefore they get a lot of criticism. I think that's fair. I think that's totally 100% fair. Okay, and here we have Eplish, and meanwhile, I am just trying to offer the best content I can. Oh, Eplish, oh, you're advertising here, I like it. Outrage and negativity gets pushed a lot by the algorithm. That's why they do these videos. I call my version of the orc thing the orc sprue controversy, and it got lots of clicks relative to my channel. It would be nice if YouTube would stop pushing that kind of stuff and reward reasonable titles and thumbnails. In a lot of sense, I actually agree with Eplish here. I think that if YouTube rewarded titles that were more akin to the orc sprue, is it worth your money? Yes or no? It is this amount of money. Will you buy it? And then the thumbnail could just be a sort of very serious, dour-looking man in a suit at a table, just looking sternly. And if that got lots of clicks, everyone would be doing it. And in a lot of ways, it sort of is disappointing. Everything that you do, Eplish, should be intentional. Always. In terms of YouTube, it has to be intentional. You have to think of every single minute, except for when you're doing a video like this, in which case, just go nuts. And now we have China. All content creators of Warhammer are awful, exception being blogs or the odd battle report channel, painting, modeling lessons, and shorts animations on YouTube. I mean, I think that pretty much hits the majority of the content creators, right? The painting, modeling lessons are, what, is that just all hobby channels? There's a lot of hobby channels. The odd battle report channel and shorts animation on YouTube. The average quality of the community when creating content is absolutely awful. Well, I mean, I think that I make pretty good content here. I really try. I really put a lot of work and thought into these skits and into the videos. And actually, I don't think it's very fair on the Warhammer community. I think the Warhammer community has some really awesome content creators. I mean, if you think about the size of the miniature wargaming community in proportion to the amount of content creators that it has, I think we're actually punching above our weight a little here. Sure, there's some bad apples. I think that overall, generally speaking, the content creator community here is pretty awesome. Darwin Green. What sucks is she generally does have a point. I know that does suck. But pads with random garbage to hit the 10-minute mark to monetize the video. Aha, Darwin Green, you're on keeping up to date. It's 8 minutes now, Darwin, that it gets padded out to. Haha. But hey, at least he acknowledges I do have a point. And I don't think it's random garbage. I think the skits aren't random garbage. I basically try to say things I think that are of interest. And I also really try not to waste people's time. I get a lot of accusations that the video itself, this goes back to that hyper 5-year-old comment, that the videos are really fast-paced and maybe a little bit too much. I try to bundle as much information and content into every single video as possible because I am so afraid of wasting anyone's time. Clem Fafandango says she has a lot of valid points and is good at getting them across in the video. Thank you, Clem. The skits are a bit cringe, but then the hobby is in general, to be honest. Well, okay, fair, you got me there. The thumbnails are the worst part. For instance, the end of GW one is just an explanation as to why stock value dropped 20% and there's nothing to worry about. Well, Clem has watched the content, 3 upvotes. Thanks, Clem. The reason why that video was titled the way it was because people were asking, is this the end of Games Workshop? So I posed the question, is this the end of Games Workshop? I then answered the question. The answer was no. PM me your orc says, what the f is that face? Come on, why you gotta do me dirty like that? PM me your orcs. I would have PM'd you my orcs. No, I'm not going to. I mean, I like my face, personally. Okay, Damsa, draw stuff. The titles and pics are clickbait, but the videos are actually reasonable discussions for a person who loves miniature wargaming. Thank you, Damsa. The intros are a bit cringe, but let's face it, all of us are cringe to some degree. Okay, now I'm getting worried. I'm starting to think that people don't enjoy the intros. Is that the case? I thought people enjoyed the intros. I enjoy doing the intros. Yeah, they are pretty cringy. I have fun with them. That's got 5 upvotes, so you know, it's not too bad. Okay, thank you, Damsa. Finally, I've had some nice comments. And here Damsa says, I do think that the thumbnails and titles are intentionally cringe/ironic, but it's still a bit too much for my taste as well. Fair enough. But after the first video, I know what they expect, so I watch whenever something new comes up in my feed. Well, Damsa, thank you. I hope you're watching this video as well, in which case I say, Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I appreciate your view. I appreciate every view. And that's got -3 upvotes, so it's downvoted. Downvoted at the bottom of the thread. Sorry your karma took a hit, but thanks for fighting the good fight out there. Here we have choking on... Here we have choking on goat meat. That is that's a name. That's a name, all right. Having watched them too. No, it's not reasonable discussions from a person who loves miniature wargaming. It's a grifter pushing bull and outrage for clicks. I'm not a grifter, but then I would say that if I was a grifter. So pushing bull and outrage for clicks. I don't push outrage, I don't think. Choking on goat meat disagrees, but I mean, he's also choking on goat meat, so are we gonna trust anything he says? That's got 8 upvotes. Okay, here we have, I can't melt steel beams. This is cringe as Well, short, sweet, and to the point. Doesn't waste your time. I can appreciate that in a content creator like I can't melt steel beams. Here we have on a I tried watching 2 minutes of one of her videos and it was pure cringe. Okay, now I'm just getting nothing but cringe comments. Come on, it's got 2 upvotes as well. So much work goes into the first 2 minutes of these videos. I have a skit that I have purposefully written and performed for your entertainment, and then I have photoshopped images flashing up in the background, and then carefully selected subreddits to show, and pure cringe apparently, according to on a but then this is someone's Reddit account anyway, so I mean, am I really gonna trust what they say? Ted Cruz Battle Bus. I love it. I actually love this. That's a good name. That's a good name. Watch the Orcs video a third of the way in, and it seemed to be just valid criticism and buyer beware stuff. Ted Cruz gets it. Ted Cruz gets it. This far, focusing on the new boys and the fact that the sculpts don't allow posing and customization we've gotten used to, and that some models are locked to being shooters or choppers, meaning that you can't simply build the box as you wish. Exactly. The title might be clickbait, but you need to be delusional to simply dismiss this as fear-mongering and whining. -4 downvotes. Come on! Ted Cruz Battle Bus, again, thank you very much. I completely agree. I think that there's a lot of issues with the Orc box. I think it does not bode well for future boxes. I think I'm pretty right on that. Also, I still can't understand why they mixed up the shoot it and chop it. It makes no sense. I can't help but just think that it was to encourage people to buy more boxes. But thank you, Ted Cruz. Thank you for standing up for me. Dr010. She does clickbait titles and thumbnails, yeah, but her videos are well thought out and very good. Thank you very much. In a land of both Gamses and Valrax, she stands out as a person who takes a reasonable middle ground. Not a hater or a Valrak, huh? Well, you know, thank you. I always try to position myself in a way that I'm getting anger from everyone. So that works out, evidently. Thank you, Dr010. Ardent Sky 236. Very nice name. Okay, let's see what they have to say. Average looking homely girl with big and glasses pretending to like nerd so nerds give them money and attention. First of all, I don't think I have big homely. Okay, I mean, I'll take it. And glasses. I'm sorry that I have vision issues, I guess, that I have to wear glasses. Pretending. I don't pretend. I've been at this since 2004. I've got some pretty old school stuff that I still make use of. So, you know, I mean, I'm pretty legit. I'm pretty legit. This guy is pretty mean, to be honest, and I'm guessing that it's a guy. I'm going to assume that it's a guy. Thanks, Ardent Sky. Zern of the Light says, they're a YouTuber. What did you expect? Integrity? I miss the days of integrity. I actually do miss the days of integrity. There was a YouTuber that I used to really follow, YouTuber's a word for it, which was Total Biscuit, and he did a lot of really good work for the video game industry, I think. He stood up against a lot of the most heinous of practices, I think the most excessive practices, and I was actually a huge fan of his content. I really liked his attitudes toward things. I don't think he got everything right. I disagree with him on a few things, but I agreed with him in terms of his perspective on the video game industry. And it's a similar perspective that I echo now in the miniature game industry. And I think that we need more consumer advocacy, because whatever your opinion on, you know, the marketplace, on capitalism or not, you have to acknowledge that we are in a system where the market operates, and we as customers of Games Workshop, as hobbyists, we're impacted by all these things. And it's really important that we come together as a community, as a group, and we say, no more Games Workshop, no more Primaris Lieutenants, more Dark Eldar. Okay, fine, more just normal Eldar, I guess. And the thing I liked about Total Biscuit is he was one of the ones who really pioneered the fact that he would always reveal that he was getting paid for a sponsorship or that he'd received items for free. And that was something that not every single YouTuber or content creator would do on the platform. I think that he had a lot of integrity for doing that, and it was very admirable. And it's something that I want to replicate on this channel. I want to be a channel that you can trust, that when I say I like something, I actually mean it. Or when I say I don't like something, I actually mean it. And whenever I say I don't like the fact that Games Workshop's doing this thing, you know that I actually mean that. I'm not just putting it on because, well, I don't have to. I really mean the things that I say. What's the point otherwise? Half Fox 102. And of course, it has painfully unfunny skits. My God, who watches this? You. I don't think the skits are unfunny. They make me laugh. That's all that matters to me. They make me laugh. So I hope that they make others laugh too. Drip Dingus. That is an amazing. The avatar for this one is so good. It's like a little man. Wait, let me check to see which Warhammer sub this is before I post. ... Got it. That's good, Drip. I like that. That's pretty good. Wow, I agree. They're over sensationalizing the community. GW isn't that bad. How did I do? -2. You did well, Drip. You did well. Lone Burrito says, do you make a post about every YouTube video you don't like? Just don't watch it. I think it's fine posting stuff like this. -6. Beautiful. I sort of disagree as well though, and I know he's sort of standing up for me here, so I'm being a little bit ungrateful. But this reminds me of the same sort of comment of just don't buy it. I think that we should talk about stuff that happens in the community. I think that if there is a YouTuber or a content creator or someone who you think is not doing good for the community, who is actually taking actions that you disagree with, I think it's definitely something to talk about. I think it's solely relevant for the community. Lumberito, thank you though. Thank you all the same for standing up to me, but I do disagree with you. -6 is probably a bit harsh though. Robbie Randall says, have you actually delved into her content? The covers are a bit clickbait, but her analysis is spot on. Well, thank you. I think the analysis is spot on too. -18. Apparently, I am not well liked in the main Warhammer 40k community. Died Dreek says, so glad I blocked that channel. YouTube just kept pushing me it. It also makes me think she props isn't even in the hobby. People keep saying that, and I don't know why, though I have a suspicion. I have a really big suspicion as to why people keep saying that. And I don't know what it is that causes it. Is it just because I keep showing all my Warhammer miniatures on the videos, or the fact that I keep on pulling up peripherals that I have still for whatever reason in my collection over there? Is the fact that I keep showing off all the books that I own from Warhammer? What could it be that makes people think that I'm not into the hobby at all? Zombie Burger, cool name, says all these types of channels I removed from my playlist. Kinda done with all the negativity. Yeah, we all know Games Workshop does weird stuff. It's a hobby. Enjoy yourself and buy the stuff you really want. Eons of Battle and Kiriath are a lot more laid back and positive, so worth a watch. So first of all, Eons of Battle and Kiriath are indeed worth a watch. I actually quite like those guys. I watch their content myself. I think they are worth a watch, so check them out. Discord says, check them out. Second of all, yeah, we all know Games Workshop does weird stuff. It's a hobby. This attitude, the reason why this channel exists the way it is because I got fed up with this attitude of just like, you know, well, Games Workshop are gonna Games Workshop. What do you want from me? Well, I want you to get mad every time because this is how it works. It's attrition. They keep doing the stuff, so eventually people stop complaining about it. It becomes the new norm. And when it's the new norm, then it's a disaster because good luck trying to claw it out of the hobby. It happened to video games, it'll happen here as well. Loot boxes are in everything now. Microtransactions. Remember, microtransactions in video games used to be controversial. Day one DLC used to be controversial. Pre-order bonuses used to be controversial. Now we're beginning to see early access in the miniature wargaming hobby. We're seeing FOMO with every release now because not enough people stood up against it when it first started to rear its head, and we have to deal with these issues. And who knows? In the future, who knows what Games Workshop are going to do in order to push this further. So I'm not going to just simply say to myself, oh, I'll just not buy it. That won't matter. Games Workshop won't even see that happen. They don't care. If I don't buy something, Games Workshop do not care because they're trying to exploit the people who will. That they're going to just claw up as much of their money from their pockets as possible. And so me not spending anything will not matter at all, one iota to their bottom line. On the one hand, yeah, enjoy yourself and buy the stuff you really want. I do agree with that. I just think that you should think critically about what it is you want and why you want it. Okay, here we've got Hate Breaks. Sorry, I need some more. Hate Brain Axe. Who is this snowflake? Nobody cares about her. I bet not even her parents. That's why she is so mad. LOL. That is needlessly cruel. -2, so at least people are like, bit mean, you know. People are like, oh, she's a cunt earlier, but you know, this time they're like, too far, bro. Yeah, I mean, I guess nobody cares about me. Not even her parents. That's why she is so mad. That's a good one. That is a good one. I mean, I'm not angry mad. I'm kind of outraged. I'm sort of affronted and indignant and polemic. I'm not like mad. I'm not like, I'm not like frothing at the mouth. And that is all of them. That is all of the comments that I was sent to look over and review. I gotta be honest, not a lot of substantive criticism here. A lot of it was basically just the same couple of points that I don't think are very fair, namely the clickbait one and nobody cares. She's so mad because her parents don't like her. Hit a little bit close to the bone, but there we are. There's an important lesson here, I guess. First of all, get sleep, everybody. I think you need it. I've been doing without. It's not great. So this weekend, I'm gonna sleep. As well as that, I think it's fair to say that there are some sections of the community that you cannot say anything critical of Games Workshop. I have heard of these places that they are very liberal in terms of utilizing their ban hammers in order to make sure that there is a dominant discourse in that area, and anything negative or critical of Games Workshop is immediately banned because they don't want the drama. This is super problematic in my opinion. This is really problematic, and in fact, it's probably one of the most dangerous aspects of the hobby because it really does encourage that echo chamber effect. I'm fine with being made fun of. I'm fine with being insulted. I just wish that people would engage with the points. I hope people watch the content and actually do engage with it. I tried to make the content as neutral, I suppose, as possible, as I presume that you are someone who enjoys Games Workshop when you step in. And I'm just trying to tell you why I think it might be a little bit bad and why you should reflect on the Games Workshop content, because there are lots of really good companies, and just ask, why do you play Games Workshop products? Because ultimately, I'm happy enough. If you don't like the channel's content, horses for courses, as far as I'm concerned. But we do need balance in the community. We need people to be critical, not blindly critical, but we need people to be critical. Games Workshop need to be critiqued. They have gotten away with a lot of problematic behavior, and I don't think they should continue to do so. I think that there should be voices in the community that stand up against that, especially considering the fact that the practices, in my mind, are getting worse. They're doubling down on a lot of this behavior, and it's really alienating a lot of hobbyists, and I don't want the hobby to implode, and I don't want Games Workshop to fall apart at the seams. Maybe reduce prices, huh? People think they're too high, maybe reduce them a little. Make the hobby more accessible. Is this crazy to me? I think that there could be a lot more people playing the hobby, because how else will this change if we don't speak up? And awareness of these issues can breed resistance within the community. But we have to talk about it, because a lot of the practices of Games Workshop are not inevitable. They don't have to do these things. They choose to do so, and I don't think that's right. And if you don't think that's right, I hope you check out my Patreon, I guess. And until next time, bye-bye!